they look at it a few weeks later, and they see when it's less bruised and healed, and they smile and they say, wow, that is so nice, it's so natural, it looks like me, I've been revitalized, rejuvenated, and I don't look like anyone else. I look just like who I am and who I feel. I feel great about that. Often they'll say to me that who they feel on the inside didn't match what they look like on the outside, and that I was able to balance it for them. I have women in their 50s where I do facelifts, and they'll say, you know, I looked in the mirror and I just didn't see myself. I saw my grandmother and my mother. I didn't see me anymore. It wasn't this vibrant inner self anymore. And after I change some of those things and make it smoother and still looking like themselves, just natural, they come back and they say, wow, I look at myself and it's who I now feel on the inside matches who I am on the outside. And that it's very enjoyable for me.
Well, you had told me that I think you had one patient who was in her 70s.
She is a flight attendant, and she came to me, and she was a German descent and a lot of sun damage, and she said, you know, I want a facelift. And I said, well, you're pretty healthy, you know, this is usually for women in their 50s and 60s, but occasionally 70s. So, and she had more energy than 10 people put together. And she was still working as a flight attendant, still in her 70s.
Wonderful.
And actually her husband, who came with her, he was retired at that point, but he was also a flight attendant. And afterwards, she still had the same energy, and she looked great. I mean, she was just a ball of fire. Yeah.
You really, it sounded to me when we had a talk before that you really try to be sure that the person, that this really is appropriate for the person, that it's something that they really should be doing. I mean, in terms of, as you said, something about matching what's on the inside.
Well, part of the consultation process, and I spend a great deal of time with each individual, is to discern what they really want and if they have realistic expectations. And then to decide between us if what I can do for them is appropriate. Mm-hmm. And so I need to find out if it's appropriate, if it's the right time for them, and all those factors come into whether we're going to do the surgery. Mm-hmm. So yes, I like to get to know them, and part of my getting to know them helps me to understand what they really are trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. And again, part of my goal is to do the surgery and make them pleased and make myself pleased as well. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, I'll tell patients this will take 4 or 5 hours, but I tell them, you know what, it may take an extra hour. And I say, I never stop surgery until I'm happy. That's when I finish. Mm-hmm. And my last stroke is when it's done. That's like an artist, when mm-hmm. you just know it's finished, and mm-hmm. I will not stop until I'm pleased. Mm-hmm. When I'm pleased, I hope that my patients will be, and generally they are.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you've always wanted to do that you haven't done yet?
Well, I like to, yes, actually I'd love to learn some languages. I just, unfortunately, I'm so visual that my auditory skills doesn't add up to that. And traveling, I like to see different sites. There's many opportunities to do things. I like to still create. I'm sure there's plenty of art that I can learn and still do, and read. I enjoy reading and just learning about different people and different things. Every day I find something new and exciting. You can be an elevator operator and teach me something that I've never known. You can be a ditch digger, and I can watch you dig a ditch and learn something that is so unique that someday I'll use it. It's right. Always stored there. Right. So there's always something that I can learn from individuals, and that's the enjoyable part of life.
Well, I also think that's one of the things that keeps you young.
Constantly expanding your horizons and being open. And when you become closed and you become dour, that's when you do age. The individuals that have a pleasant demeanor, that are positive, that smile, you look at their faces, and they're always just so much more vibrant and youthful looking than those that go through life scowling all the time and saying, you can't do this. Well, why can't you do it? Right. You know, do it, try it. You know, there's ways to do it. You just have to be open to it. And, you know, there's too many people that say you can't do something. You can do it. You just have to find the right venue and the right way to do it, and you will accomplish it.
Great. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Well, thank you very much. It was enjoyable.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining us for Ageless. And remember that when you're in love with your life, you are ageless.